Jonathan Banks, Senior Director of Editorial and Data Services for NADA Used Car Guide, talks about tracking fuel prices, housing prices, and other key variables when calculating projected used vehicle sales.
The forecasters are predicting a relatively stable fuel price market. We're at about $74 a barrel, and the analysts, all the experts are saying that that's about right for the majority of the year. We probably will hit over $3 during the driving season, come early summer. But overall, no one expects the rises that we had in 2008. But that being said, fuel price is inherently volatile. It's very tied into the geopolitical situation, and even without that variable, if you look at fuel prices and the volatility, we could easily hit a $4 market, we could easily hit a $2 market. But like I was saying, right now they're saying it's stable. Used supply, like, as I was saying, is going to be very, very tight in the first quarter. But the key, I think, for prices too is demand. And you look at where housing prices are going. Not really a rosy outlook yet, but at least we're not looking at the big declines that we had before. And when consumers start feeling confident about their house pricing being a little more stable, they feel a little bit more confident about going out and making a big purchase like an automobile. Another thing on the supply side, I didn't talk about the Toyotas. One thing about Toyota, they might run into a problem with the amount of Toyotas coming in back to the used market if in fact we get a pullback in demand. So overall demand is going to increase, but if Toyota starts losing some of the demand from those customers that maybe wouldn't have considered a domestic product and were more a foreign-based type of customer, we might be looking at an imbalance of supply and demand for Toyota models. But overall, the outlook is fairly stable, probably looking at more normal seasonal patterns that we haven't seen in a couple years. The advice I'd give to dealers, well, the one key thing, and I think we're kind of seeing that now, is use all the information that's out there. So when you're purchasing a vehicle, make sure that you're not buying on the up and down volatility that we're going to see in the market. Make sure that you understand the real collateral value of the asset that you're buying, and understand too how long it takes you to turn that vehicle, so you can understand what kind of risk is associated with each individual model. Because all the models have different volatility and prices, so it's good to know if I'm going to buy a Honda Accord, I need to know what that value is going to be in 10 days in case that's how long it's going to sit on my lot. And I also need to know what's the probability that I'm going to get that price that I am expecting when I originally bought the car. And then you look at another vehicle that has maybe a high volatility, like an SUV model, like a Tahoe for instance, and you have to understand that the volatility is much higher, so there's more risk inherent in that. So incorporate that in your purchase decisions for sure. But there's so much information out there, like NADA now has a weekly value that will provide the up and down movement in the auction, so you can monitor that, but you also need to understand the trends. And just there's a lot of resources out there, just make sure you're looking into all of them and understanding the value of all of them together. So that's why we at NADA have a very sort of a more, what we think is a more comprehensive approach, where we're looking at the weekly values, we're looking at the retail side, we're looking at asking prices, and we're looking at the AUCNET data that is about 80% of the market.